and welcome to the third challenge in the SAA Practice Makes Progress. So I hope you enjoyed the other two. The third challenge is construction drawing. So what does that mean? It's breaking subjects down into their basic shapes. So you see a subject and you see what basic shapes like a square, a rectangle, a triangle, an oval, a circle. See if you can break it down into really simple shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this teddy bear using the construction drawing. Now he's a very round shape, so there's going to be a lot of rounds and ovals in it. I'm going to sketch it quite dark so you can see it, but normally would sketch it quite lightly. And then I like to see the construction lines sometimes as part of the drawing, but it means you can then rub out and be left with your subject. So firstly, I'm just going to put a straight line down because I know he's slightly off to one side. So I'm just going to break his head down into a circle. And it doesn't matter that I've done a number of lines because I'm doing it quite lightly. I can rub them out. This ear, the little circle, and it goes round the back. And this ear, it's more of an oval shape. And you can see more of it. So I'm just thinking his nose will come here. Like I say, it's a lot of ovals and circles. His triangle for his nose, and then I'm just wondering where I can put his eyes, and again, they're little circles. So I'm just thinking of his body, and his body is in relation to his head. He's got quite a big head. I'm just thinking where. So looking again, I think his nose needs to be a little bigger. But I can do that on the final drawing. So again, so circle there, circle or oval here. Nice oval for the body. What I want to do is have a look and see where the arm fits onto. And I'm going to break it down into two ovals at a joint at the elbow. With this one, it doesn't go very far. It kind of goes here. It doesn't quite look like the subject, but I can bulk it out when I come to the detail. What I'm trying to do is judge, and I'm looking for negative space in between. So on this arm, comes out of his shoulder here, and there's a little triangular space here because his arm bends back. I'm trying to make sure I look at the space as well as the shape. His leg, it's got a joint just there, and then a longer joint here. Quite a bit of foreshortening, so I'm going to have to think about that. And then he's actually got quite big feet, which may be a bit too big. Now, I can see that's wrong. So I need to review, come back, make this shorter and push his foot forward. And I'm not worried about all these other lines. That's part of constructing. It's part of drawing. It's part of looking at something, reviewing and looking back and moving your marks. And here, I don't actually have a gap, which I can see in here, so I just make his arms bigger. I can see that. I need to. So all of this I'm thinking about, I'm deciding on, and I'm constructing. So his foot comes out as an oval here. That's quite close. So all I'm going to do now is just check that the arm lays on the leg there. That's fine. It comes to the shoulder and it comes behind his cheek. So I'm just looking at the shapes all fit together where I want them before I start to then go in with a pen. You can do this any which way you want, but I'm just going to now show you that I can go back in and add the detail. So it's more a case of just looking at those detail bits, which, like I say, some people get very overwhelmed with very early into the drawing, when it's probably much more practical to start and learn the shape. Do his eyes. Oh, he looks a bit angry. Maybe I've overdone that a little bit. Now he looks like an angry bear rather than the gentler bear that he actually is. So nose here. He's furry on his face, so I can use my lines to build this up, make his eyes a bit bigger. That'll make him look less angry. And he's got a very soft muzzle. So if I keep that soft and keep the fur a little bit more movement, that should show different textures. So he has a bow. Now I could have drawn this in the construction, but I didn't know if I wanted to keep it on or not. And what I will do is I'll put it on, I think. What's easy is I can see where it works with the shape. So basically this bow is a triangle on its own. And you'll see all the drawing underneath, but that doesn't matter because I can take that out to a later date. Okay. Bring his face round, and it goes under his chin. So because the bow's quite simple, all I'm doing is just making simple shapes with the bow, and that comes down quite far into his belly. Up there. So those simple shapes are really helping. I can now see where his arm is. Like I said, I did put a joint in, even though I can't actually see a joint on his arm. So just see the roundness of the belly. Right, his legs. So I've done these shapes here. And then nice big round feet. These are just sketches. I'm beginning to work out shapes and look for shapes. What I'll do is I can do more complicated drawings and start to look for lots more shapes in a drawing. Again, I'd put the joint in so I know where that is. Using that second shape, I can now put in his pad. And you can keep adding detail, keep going, keep adding until you're happy. This is a fairly quick sketch. What I'm doing is I'm practicing the art of learning to see shapes in the subject. So I think that's worked quite well, apart from I've made him a little angry, but not a big problem. I quite like all the marks in the drawing, but that's just me. But what I can do is I can take off those construction marks. And I'm not going to take them all off because the whole point of this pad that I'm using, which is the Practice Makes Progress pad, I've got all the other challenges in it. So the point is I want to see how I've got to where I am, and that is all those different shapes. So find shapes in subjects, and it really helps you break down and helps with your proportion and your drawing skills. Here are a few subjects that I've been working on. You can see here I've got triangles on the muzzle, circles for the head. This, very round again because it's a squirrel, but round on top of a round, so the shoulders are round and the belly, the legs are round. And this is a llama, and you can see here I did the drawing here, but then I duplicated those same shapes and drew the llama shapes on top of in the red pen, and you can see how very simple shapes are very easy to translate into quite a nice drawing. I quite like that. So have a go at construction drawing, and remember, practice makes progress.